Hey, with Mike and Erson and Tony and Jay. Thank you once again for joining us for another edition of Issuenight. If you've never seen this show before, we talk about important and serious and pertinent and timely issues of the day. We don't let anything get by. We attack it as soon as we can, Tone.
Right on.
Okay.
I like it.
Jay, the graphics program is not working today.
Okay, so we don't have credits. For those of you who that's a trigger, we just want to let you know.
You mean like
so
a
you can
trigger,
prepare.
like a Twitter?
No, that's a trigger that could send someone crawling under their bed, or maybe they need to put a hockey helmet on or protect themselves emotionally in some way. So we do not have credits. So we just wanted that. We just need to warn people. Our insurance company says to do that. And so
So when I go to the wide shot, you're not going to put a graphic up?
if you go to the wide shot, then what happens?
You're not going to put a graphic up?
Correct. And there will be no graphics.
All right, let's go to the wide shot and then say the issue.
Right,
Maybe I can add
I'll
them
say the
later.
issue.
So this is not a graphical safe space.
Correct. You just
not
pretend there's a graphic there. In our first issue, it's a legislative issue. I think they're passing new legislation. Tony, is that what I'm hearing?
As we speak, yes, legislation here in New York for a change. They're passing it. It actually started in the Adirondacks. Can I say that? The people in the Adirondacks are very possessive of their name, and their name is on the chair.
So, Tone, you can say it on the show, but then we have to go back and take it out.
Well,
Because it's copyrighted. We're not even supposed to say the word. I don't even want to say it because it's going to create a lot of editing.
you can say it when you're in that place.
Okay.
But
are we in that place?
We're not. But I can quote somebody else saying it who is there.
Who's there?
The people who are Adirondack guy.
Wait,
The Adirondackians?
Adirondackians, yes.
And directors.
Right.
And directors.
Do we need to then edit if we quote someone saying it?
We don't edit.
Is it okay to interact with the Adirondackians?
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But just in reference to their chairs,
I see.
which I won't name.
Is this like, a school that changes their name because of the Native Americans? It's kind of like that.
No, they're very possessive of their name, and they don't want other people using their name on a chair that's not theirs.
Yeah, there's a law. So you, like high schools, you can't use like Native American logos and that. So now there's a law that the
Adirondackans.
You can't say Adirondack chair. You need to take that off of your chair. If it's on your chair, you need to get a sander and do. Oh, we have a picture of a chair, Mike. Are we able to put that up?
Maybe.
I don't know if we are.
I see it. See nothing.
Hold on.
Hold
Let me click it.
I got
Okay.
one.
So there's okay. So we have a picture.
It's Tony.
And
everyone's seen it, but that's
okay.
good.
So instead of like saying the word, you can just hold up the picture.
Yeah, Tony, people can get your personal information if you do that. So don't. Yeah, no, don't. Yeah, okay. So,
Jay, how do I get the YouTube thing open?
the chat
window. How do I do that? Because
yeah, it was.
do you remember?
It
Where's
was,
your
it was
son?
under a
on the side.
menu.
Menu.
Yeah.
I got
Okay.
it.
You got. How do I
So
do that?
I'll just talk. If you guys have Adirondack on anything, you need to take it off.
No, just the chairs. The legislation is specifically geared towards the chairs.
No, but I have it on something metal, so I need to get a grinder, right?
A metal
Why would
chair?
you? Well, yeah. I mean, how would you, or so?
Well,
what would you do?
I have tags on my 8 chairs, and I was kind of afraid to remove them, like the bed tag
Yeah.
that you're not supposed to remove
Yeah.
under penalty of law.
I
yeah.
did that
So
once.
this would be the opposite of that.
The
Yeah.
opposite.
Didn't
And
work
people
out.
go around, like I've had people knock on my door and like, we need to check your chairs and, anything. that-
Adirondackers.
It
Yeah.
could be. We have Buffalo Lifesavers are saying, weren't they in the second Star Wars? No, that was Ewoks. That's not. They look similar because if you go up there, they're a little more
taller.
hairy and you
Taller.
can't really tell.
Live in the
if
trees.
their eyes. Yeah, and correct. There's a lot of tree houses and things like that. So yeah, correct.
So anyways, New York State passed the legislation, and so unless you're in the Adirondacks, you can't call that chair by that name. So everywhere else, we've got to call it something else. and they're actually going to vote on what the new name is.
All right, I have a question. So if we go back to the picture, what if I don't know if my mouse, can you see it? Okay, a little bit. Whoa, I don't know what happened. Okay, I have a mouse here. But if you removed the backing on that chair, now that wouldn't be an Adirondack chair anymore. So if I took that down, then I could call it
Jay's broken.
okay,
something chair,
and
yeah.
and I won't get in trouble with this chair. People calling it like, "Hey, isn't that a broken Adirondack chair?" They can say that. I think,
Well, it'd be easier just to call it by the new name, whatever that's going to be.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got this information actually from a subscriber here. Sonny told me that the new names are either going to be for the chair. How do I get out of this thing? Chair.
Why
Or
am I in this thing?
How did I even get in it? Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Or hard on my back chair, kind of rhymes.
I've also heard
romantic.
what's the name of the guy who built the chair?
What's his name? Right.
Adirondack,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, there's this whole.
Can't say that.
The
Can't say that. Don't say
yeah,
that.
the fourth choice is like it's a write-in, so you could vote. And so what we're going to do is we're gonna be part of the legislative effort, and we're going to do a polling question.
That's cool, Tony.
So I'll throw that up there.
Now,
maybe.
Tony, so far we only have one YouTuber, so whatever they choose,
She can, she or he or
with
they
one person,
or-
pretty much going to be 100%.
Well, one of her things, she says, why don't we call it the Bradaronic chairs or the Saturonic chairs? What does that mean? Or so what would those names mean? Is that Latin? Because you teach.
It could be Latin.
teach physics.
Yeah.
Jay.
Yes.
You teach physics. Well, you should know. If you teach physics, you should know that.
Right. Well, I believe it has to do with the slope of where the back meets your bottom. And as long as it's that specific angle, then it can be a Bradirondack chair.
I thought it had to do with like you have a kid and he's a brat and you put him in the Brad.
Oh, I was thinking it was more of like a Brad,
Oh, Brad.
like Bradshaw.
Aren't those nails? Threads? Is that the nails they use to make these chairs that we can't name? Pretty sure.
So. Okay. So you put the poll out there.
Yeah.
What does it say, Tony, for people who can't read?
So polling question, what are we going to call this chair? And the state came up with, how do I get out? Chair. How did I get in? Chair. Hard on my back? Chair. Or something else.
Chair.
Like fill in the blank.
Yeah.
Chair, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, all right. And one of the names are saying Saturonic is actually Iroquois for difficult to rise from chair. And Bill's saying wood chair. Yeah, I like wood chair. But I think that's been taken. I think someone else makes
Wood chair.
wood chairs.
Yeah. I like
Someone
the
else. Amish.
Yeah.
Iraqi. So we'll leave that up there for the duration of the show and let people vote.
All right. Excited.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
If you just joined us, you're watching Issue Night. We talk about important, serious issues of the day. And if we
No
get to our
graphic.
wide camera,
There's no graphic there.
we're gonna our next again, no graphics. Okay, no credits.
I might add them later. Go.
Is Space Station. Next
issues.
issues are Space Station issues. And specifically, there's some type of voting going on. I'm not aware. Can one of you guys comment on this?
Yeah. So they're doing a vote up on the space station. Just the astronauts.
Just the astronauts.
Just the
Great.
astronauts. They're taking a vote. A little bit of a disagreement over which days each. You got the Russian side, you got the American side, you
Yeah.
got some visitors. So which days are we going to work the Canadian arm?
Right.
Is available certain days for
Wednesdays.
certain people. And which days you're going to work the drive-through? So we got the drive-through.
Yeah.
The cars. The Tesla comes through once in a while.
The
orders
car
fries
the car
or-
wash in the in
car
space.
wash, the free vacuums, and the drive-through. I don't know.
I
who's
think
got
what
the
they
rights.
do actually for the drive, what they've done up
Yeah.
in space, not to get a sidetrack, but they put the car in there because there's a vacuum in space. They just open up the doors to the space
let
station,
the-
and it just
Sucks
well,
the
just
that's
dirt.
cleans out
actually
the-
that
the
cleans
neck-
out the space station, not the car.
Hold on, Erson. What do you need to do before you open up a hatch to outer space? Isn't there things you need to do? I mean, you can't just open it up, right?
Well,
I mean,
you would need to be in some sort of air protective suit. Otherwise, you also go out of the vacuum.
Okay.
And if you happen to be sucked out of the window, then at least you could breathe.
So
You would also be
you
cleaned
get
out.
in
It
a
would be clean
suit,
to view.
and then
Yeah.
you open the windows.
Yes. Yes.
And all the dirt goes out.
Yeah, an EVA suit.
But that cleans
Okay.
the space station. That doesn't clean the cars that are coming through the car.
You could open the car's windows then.
You could, and it let it just go right through.
Yes.
Would you want, if you're in the car, you'd want to get in out of it? I mean, assuming this
You
car
would
is actually.
you would be ejected out of it though.
But if you're in the car, though, it clearly they're not airtight. You
No.
really need to make a car that's airtight.
Teslas are not.
No, but there is a Tesla in space.
It's a convertible, anyways. The one up there. So
Bill's got a good point. I mean, why can't you just hold your breath? You know, if you're going to get money, need a suit.
I believe your
you know?
water will boil. Your blood will boil.
Yes. Well, you know,
You
in
have like 10 or to 15
Well,
seconds
isn't it
before you
like
die.
3 degrees
Or
above
freeze.
Kelvin, so
Yeah. Well, because you have no pressure, so your body will start to like
expand.
kinda. Not your body's
Expand and
elasticy.
freeze.
It's elasticy a little bit though, so you won't completely.
no,
completely
you have about
blobolate.
maybe 30
Okay,
Is that a word?
seconds.
Blobolate.
I got a note here. Wants to know who the new guy is.
Erson. It's okay, that's right. It sounds like person, but don't say the P.
It's like person without the P.
Person.
Wow, that's helpful to me. That's
And
awesome.
your wife
was
said
Erson.
your wife
Usually.
said some people come up to you and say, "Hi, Mr. Eeple."
I
Because
have
it
been
sounds
called
like
Eeple.
people
Eeple.
without the P. They
I
get
have been
confused.
called Eeple.
That'd
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
steeple without the st. But that's
But it's not.
Person.
It's
without
not.
the
It's completely
person,
different,
yeah.
but the same idea, Tony.
yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Anyways,
starting
we're
to
glad
frig-
to have you. Go ahead.
Thank
Jay.
you.
I'm starting to forget about what we're talking about,
Me too.
but I
Voting,
think we're
yeah.
talking about
Cleaning
voting.
voting
So
in
they're
the space
they're
station.
voting on chores, what we need to do. Now the problem is if you get someone that's not trained for the drive-through, Tony.
The Russians
I mean, okay, they're not trained, and what kind of training do they need to go through? You know, what kind of confined
Yeah, I
space
mean-
training? I mean, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean they're in a confined space, right to know, hazard communication. There's probably some hazards up there.
Okay. Do they know diversity? I mean, they need
food
diversity
safety,
training.
diversity.
You don't know who's coming through that drive-through, and you need to know how to react to them and
Speaking
and
lots
yeah,
of languages.
yeah.
You need
Sure.
to like have a year under your belt at McDonald's before you even do that thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, they must
There's
have
probably
it
a
'cause they're already
universal
working it.
translator, though, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, the battlefish
Yeah.
could translate.
Yes.
All right. So Buffalo Life Service has a good point. People want to know, are there any 2 for $5 deals to make it worth going there, going either up to the space station or going through the drive-through? And I would ask, like, do you need coupons? Because I hate that you get all the way up there and you're like, shoot, it's a coupon. It's
well,
not.
Yeah,
They
it
got
does
the app,
cost you
right?
$1 million to actually get to the space station.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, if
They're
you're into
working on it.
coupons, I don't know.
You're gonna need that because after the $1 million, like I want 2 for $5 deal.
Right.
Like I just spent $1 million.
You better
I want,
supersize it for that.
Yeah, I should get a 2 for $5 deal. Like 2. What are we talking about? 2 what for $5? I mean,
You know,
Burger,
like
the
Fries.
little toys. You get toys.
no, not that people want to eat. They don't want toys. I
The
mean,
toys are
that's the
included.
last thing you want. You know what
Toys
I
are
mean?
included in the Happy Meal, but not anymore actually.
I,
Believe it? You gotta-
Tom, what do you get?
No.
2 for what? What do you for
Two,
$5?
2 for 1.
2 for $1.
Well,
you get 2
no.
items for $1.
One price.
$1.
What? No, one price. Whatever
Yeah,
the price
2
is.
for $1. I get it.
One price. Yeah.
Yeah, that
So you get
price.
2.
That price is
So
a
that's
dollar.
the
Dollar.
issue is there. And it all came down to because the the Russians wanted the Tuesday Thursday shift because they want Fridays off.
Why? What were they
They,
doing?
they want
That's a
the
big
day off.
movement in
Oh, I
Russia.
see.
Like we're not working Fridays anymore. We're we go to the store and there's next to nothing there. We just don't want to work Fridays. So yeah.
I know
Yeah,
that.
and then the Americans they want to use the Canadian arm Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So it's a
The left arm or the right one?
whichever one's up there. Then
I don't know if it's left-handed or right. I don't know. Left-handed, right-handed, Jay? I don't
that
know.
would matter.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, because you had 2 arms, you could do 2 things. Literally, you could have 2 people doing that.
So, anyways, they're going to put it up for a vote, and the shenanigans have already started. The Russians are trying to change the date of the vote
Right.
because right now I think there's 3 of them up there, and there's 4 Americans.
what?
Well, there's the cosmonauts.
There's 3 Russians, and how many other countries are up there? How many people are up there? Can we look that up, please? Jay, look that up, please. I want to know
What?
how many people are on the space station right now.
There's
right.
like
I'll try to make
7 or
that up.
9.
Because
or
they just had
12.
2 Russians and American just went up the other day. So I need to know how many.
Yeah.
All right.
Because that affects.
And then there's sometimes there's a visiting Italian or European or
Right.
something, and then sometimes there's
The
visitors.
European.
So they're trying to change the date so when the Russians make their change, there's going to be more of them,
Let's see.
and then they could skew the vote.
Jay, what is that?
Yeah, don't put that
That's
up.
a-
All right, so
Gingerbread house.
here's the thing. These are good questions coming up here. Okay, so can you get Tang when you're up there, and can you use Canadian money? Which I'm going to say no, because Canadian money is not good anywhere, right? I mean,
Well,
you can't use it in pinball machines. You can't use it in
You can
bubble
try,
hockey.
Jay. You can try. I've done it with bubble hockey 55 times. You have to put the Canadian quarter in. On the 55th turn, it actually does work.
All right, I don't know if people
It
have
also
time for 55.
it works in arcades too.
It does.
Okay.
The quarters.
The quarters do.
Yes.
Okay, well, that's the problem. So, like, if I'm up on the space station and I get the Canadian coins, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, because if there's no coin-operated machines where I can put it in 55 times, I don't right? I mean, is there an alternative here, or do we just say
Credit.
no
You
to?
can do credit.
Okay, all right.
I mean,
so, all right. So the
don't
Tang,
forget your
can they
credit
get
card.
Tang? That's another question they want to
Jay,
know.
what is Tang?
It's a powdered beverage that the
something.
astronauts
Stuff.
lived on in the 1970s, and they tried to bring it back. They made a lot of it up in space, and they brought it back trying to sell it.
They didn't know what to do with it,
No.
so they brought it back. Yeah.
Well, I went in 1984. I went to space, Space Lab or whatever was up there in space.
Oh, yeah.
And I went.
You went up
visited
there?
for a little while, but then I visited the replica.
That was a field trip.
It
like
was
a
field
lot
trip.
of kids went
exactly,
up,
and
yeah.
they had the ice cream that was had no water in it. It was just like crunchy.
It wasn't cold.
It was cold, and it
No, it
was
wasn't
was
cold.
had no water in it. Just crunchy. That was pretty cool. I had a good time, but I don't know what you're talking about, Jay. What were you talking about?
Again, we're talking about voting up on the space station for things that they want to do there. So
Yeah. So there is a controversy. They're trying to come up with rules as to and the U.S. administration's concerned about electronic voting, so they're going to send up typewriters and
Okay.
make them type.
I see.
And they don't want to do the punch cards because that was a problem. So
And
if
the
you got a
mail-in
typewri-
voting is a problem too.
The
The what
early
is-
early voting.
Yeah.
early voting, yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that some dead astronauts have voted
They
twice.
Yeah, well, they did a test run, and there are 147 votes. So that's
That's unusual.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
a
unusual.
little bit of an anomaly.
Maybe a recount is in order.
It
Yeah.
doesn't take long. 147.
147, yeah. Well, you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
You got to get the U.S. representative and the Russian representative, and then a moderator.
The hanging chads.
Yeah.
if you just joined us, you're watching Issuenight. We talk about important and serious issues of the day. And why don't we get on to our third and last set of issues, which do I have an arrow on my thing? What is the third issue you have down here? Is it not cable? Oh, sorry. So we missed it. It's supposed to be our second issue. It's edible houses. And I guess my understanding is the patent that here's Hansel and Gretel's. Hold
on.
on, sorry, it's this one. Hansel and
Oh, that's
Gretel's.
what that is. It's not going.
Here,
Click on it.
let me
There.
click
There
it.
you go.
Okay, so this is Hansel and Gretel's house. They had edible houses. People were like, "Hey, I want that." They're like, "No, you can't. It's copyrighted. You can't." Right?
Yeah,
You can't."
technically the witch owned it, but the kids, after they, did away with the witch.
So did the
took
did the
over.
patent expire for the witch, or did the kids?
Yeah, no, they
through
took
the-
over the patent. They took ownership of the patent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that's expired.
Yeah.
Now we can all have edible houses. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, basically, we're all. I mean, I've seen it. I mean, I actually built my house out of edible items. Now it's problematic. Like I built most of my house out of chocolate, and then the
Oh.
rest of it out of like greens and things. But the kids have eaten the chocolate wing pretty much. I mean, we pretty much. I'm thinking my taxes are gonna go down. I mean, think something's gonna happen. But I strongly suggest like vegetables, things that kids don't like. If you have kids, don't build your house out of like anything sweet. No ho-hos or anything like that.
Well, I really wasn't listening to what you're saying, but I have 2 points to that. Number one, you should get lower
One.
taxes. I would apply for lower taxes.
Good.
If you're missing part of your house, you shouldn't be paying taxes
Right.
for that. It's just un-American. The second
Two.
thing is if you build it out of vegetables, then you get rats. So now you have, it's cool. You have vegetables, kids aren't eating it, and maybe it's keeping some weather out. But then you get a hole, and then you look up there, and there's a little rat, and it's eating there.
Or
Erson,
rabbits.
Rabbits, yeah.
Rabbits.
Or rabid rabbits.
Well, and that's what people are doing. There's people who they don't want their rabbits anymore. Like can't take care of this, and they're like, hey, look, there's a house with a vegetable roof. I'm just gonna let my rabbits go in their yard, and now people got to deal with this. Did that happen to you?
Well, I
Erson,
think
or-
as soon as they built the perimeter around the vegetable house, like of things that rabbits did not like.
Oh, so you got to build like what's it called? The
Poison?
No
Those flowers, daffodils or yellow bloomy things.
Those are like the big flowers, like the
The flowers that the rabbits don't
Sunflowers?
like.
sunflowers.
All right,
No.
so Buffalo Lifesavers has a good point. She says, why not just make it out of rat poison? So you can have an edible house, but you're just using those rat poison cubes. And you kind of put them together. They're kind of easy. They string together like that. It's kind of fun. Get the kids, and you get like needle and thread, and you put one on there, and then you got to wash their hands, and then.
But you don't want your kids to eat poison, Jay. I mean,
Well,
That it's not edible anymore.
if-
edible.
if they-
Well, I guess it is edible.
It's unedible
Unedible
houses.
house.
Okay,
This is edible
well,
houses.
That's a
Kids
different-
aren't
I
gonna
think
eat
that's
it.
still under patent. Somebody else has got that one. Yeah.
Unedible houses.
Yeah.
I mean, Jay. I think the big problem here, and they're trying to be ecological. They're trying to save the planet. Let's build everything natural. Even though wood's natural. I mean, drywall's really not natural, but I mean,
Can you eat wood?
you could pretty much eat anything. You
could
might
eat
die,
drywall.
but
You can eat drywall.
you
It
try
wouldn't
Jay?
be good either.
Yeah. Well, you get
He probably
then you have to go to the hospital and get your stomach pumped. But I mean, you can do it.
It can be
I mean,
done.
It's easy.
I'm just saying, it's the whole ecological thing. That's why they're building it in houses. And then when it rains, a lot of stuff gets mushy. If you have
The
graham
chocolate
crackers,
is fine in the winter, right?
it's fine until daytime, pretty
Daytime,
much.
yeah. The sun comes out. So you build it.
Yeah. That was any good, Jay? Those
They're
like
all right.
barbecue, hot barbecue.
Yeah, no, they're all right. So
Could you build a house out of that?
Want to try some, Erson?
No, thanks.
I have drinks somewhere.
yeah, I don't. If people out there have other ideas of what type of material you can use, let us know. There's people out there and they're like, hey, it's edible, and I'm gonna make my house out of peanuts or something like that, and then
That's dangerous, though. I mean, there's allergies,
Well,
and
that's
then
one.
Sure.
That's one way to
it could be
protect the
after like
children.
the gluten-free house.
I don't think you get insurance for that. Like if you're not going to get homeowners insurance for peanuts and things like that.
But it's
So-
one way to keep people you don't like away.
It is.
So if you don't like people who have peanut allergies, just build your house out of peanuts. If you don't like gluten, people, I mean, you should like people, but I'm just saying, then build a gluten house. What?
Marigolds.
Marigolds are what?
Keep rabbits
That's what you're
away.
looking for?
Ah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Thank you, Sonny.
Bill,
No wonder I have so many rabbits.
Tony, what does that say about
Lots of
Twinkies?
rabbits.
Many-
Twinkie wall. They last forever.
Okay, so Tony, I mean, can
That's
you?
a good idea.
They got a
Are those
half-life.
fire resistant? I mean, do you have to?
Oh my goodness. They're like time capsules. So like he's right.
They've
I mean,
actually lined the
between
space
that,
station with Twinkies in the walls.
Yeah.
To,
Okay.
so the
Good
radiation doesn't go through it.
insulator, lasts forever. That and French fries from your local fast food restaurant.
Right.
They last forever, right? You got some in the back of your car, probably.
I do.
Clean the
The
seats
bottom
out.
of my seat.
Yeah, been there years. So there are things that would work, I think. And an emergency, you could eat them, right?
You could.
Petrified.
Okay.
So that's not a bad idea.
All right. All right, we're out of time, but we just want to thank everyone for joining us, especially live on our live stream. Thank you for dealing with our lack of credits, and join us for another edition of Issue
All right, that's it. That's a show. I mean, it's raw. It's unedited. It's got graphics. No sound effects.
Did you have graphics last time?
We have graphics all the time. We
do.
We just
Tell them what happened, Mike.
Well, we had
Would you
the free
like-
trial for 60 days,
Oh,
and
and you
it
didn't
ran
re-up or
out.
something?
It ran out
Yeah.
today when you came, and then before we tried to pay $60 to get, and then all the projects are gone. It's just
Can't
sad.
you just do sign up under a different email address or something? Or
I'm gonna think of that. Man, that's a good idea. No. Yes. No. I don't know. So we're between shows right now, which means we're gonna do a second show, and then
is this
if
still
you have, what?
live?
We're still live. We're still
Oh.
streaming right now. So yeah, don't say anything that your kids don't want to hear. If they're allowed to watch us.
They're probably not watching.
So if you have any ideas, put them on the table. We do have some ideas. What do we got, Jay? What's on the? what's on the
Dark Matter is one of them. So we're going to
Dark
talk
matter.
about that.
Dark
That's
matter,
Erson.
that'd be fine.
Erson is a
well,
tutor. He's a tutor for physics, or used to be, or
I used to, yes, physics tutor.
Yeah, so physics. So we're gonna really explore physics in this episode. I'm really excited because I wish I took physics. With a computer science degree, I could not get a job because I didn't take the physics. But that's okay. I'm in radio now. And then what's the second one, Jay? What else you got?
The space station issues.
Yes,
dealing with election.
we got something a follow up on that. Yeah. And then
Yeah, because that issue's not going away.
no,
Yeah.
it's not going to go away for a while.
Okay.
Until election's over. And what was the third one, Jay?
Last one is, I'm getting a picture for it now, is the Cave of the Winds.
In Niagara
just,
Falls.
yeah.
You guys probably don't know what we're going to need to explain it. Just a quick explanation, Jay. All right.
Yeah.
Of what the Cave of the Winds is and like how exciting it is. Yeah. So you're just looking up for websites. We're ready to go when you are, Jay. We're all
Yeah,
waiting on
okay,
you.
give
Really,
me,
it's all you, Jay.
all
Just
right,
like
it's
before the
fine,
show, you're
it's
like,
fine.
our wives are going to start,
Okay.
turning off the TV sets if you don't start the show soon.
That was
But I think we're good. I
Okay,
think we're
good.
good.
All right, good.
All right.
You are
Ready?
recording,
All right.
right? We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'm streaming too. Apparently, am I streaming? You checked the stream, right? I heard it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Good.
I- yeah, you're right.
Okay, we're ready to go.
Aaron, we good? Audio?
It's good.
Gotta get the headphones on. Thank you. It's Issue Night with Mike and Erson and Tony and Jay. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Issue Night. Once
breathe on this
again,
thing.
Thank you.
letting people know, do what you need to do. We don't have credits.
They're not credits, Jay. They're graphics. Credits are like at the end of a movie. You see credits. Like we're crediting this person with doing something. Well, we're not. That's not. This is graphics.
So wait, there's
We
a
don't have
movie.
credits
There's
either, though.
We
we're
don't-
showing a movie.
Credits
or
aren't in the beginning.
we're-
They could be in the old movies. They did have them in the beginning.
They did.
Where's the movie?
I mean, there's no movie, Jay. It's a show.
Okay. So
We don't have titles.
No
why don't we
movie,
just
no
start with our
graphics.
first issue and
Do it.
hopefully
Credits.
you'll
I'm
be
gonna go
okay. First set of issues we call it Dark Matter. There's something going on with Dark Matter. I don't know if anyone here really knows what that means except Erson, so we're going to turn that over to him. Erson, what's going on with Dark Matter?
First off, what is dark matter?
So, dark matter, apparently, scientists can only account for a certain amount of matter. All the matter that we see, like this desk and this mouse and
The things that matter. Really.
Mike.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That only accounts for a small fraction of the amount of matter.
How do they
in the
know how
universe.
much there is?
They just-
Are they basing on things?
Because they're
spreading
scientists.
apart.
Yeah,
They-
it's
We have a
simple
picture,
math, Mike.
Mike.
There's like this much, and then there's this much, and this much minus this much equals the rest.
Right, but they're
Okay.
basing those. Go ahead, Jay. What's your picture?
We have a picture
No,
here.
click on it.
Oh.
That's not it.
Okay, there we go. So
That is
so
accurate.
Erson, so
accurate.
the dark
So the-
parts are the dark matter. If I touch the pink matter, will I be okay?
Pink
Do I
matter.
need gloves to touch?
There's no pink.
Don't
matter,
worry
Jay.
about it. No, there's only dark matter. There's dark matter and matter. So anyway, the dark matter.
So anyway, so dark.
is,
Wait. This
is
is
all the matter
scientists-
that we can't account for.
Okay, but the scientists. Okay, that's ridiculous. That's like saying can't get an example. What's a good example? What he's saying, Jay? Come help me.
I didn't even understand.
Well, like
the
like
thing.
the things we can't account for. You give it a name and you say that's what it is, right?
Is it
like-
a acronym.
Like what scientists do.
Like what scientists do, exactly. So, okay, so how do they figure out dark matter? They base it off of physics, like laws saying, oh, based on the speed of the universe and how it's spreading apart and all the mass, calculated mass, we think there's dark matter.
I think it has to do with the amount of gravity and like mass, the greater amount of mass that something has, the more of a gravitational pull it has.
Yeah, so spinning, what do you call it? Where you've got
Orbiting,
worlds
orbiting.
and
Yeah.
stars,
The gyroscope,
and they're
the-
spinning like you said.
The scrambler,
Orbiting.
the scrambler,
Orbiting.
or the tilt-a-whirl.
No, that is gravity, though. That's
yeah,
true.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Like
And
centrifugal-
These things
centripetal.
should be like
That's it.
spits blowing apart, but they're not.
Okay, but those are just based on numbers.
Right.
This is all numbers. Like
Numbers. It's a numbers
there's
game.
nothing, there's no dark matter detected. They're just guessing. They have no clue.
All right, Tony, if you want to travel, you want to carry dark matter with you, what do you need to do? What do you need to wear? What?
Is there
PPE?
dark matter in you? Do we have dark matter in us? We
Well, I
must.
think the main issue really was dark matter weight gain.
Right.
Oh,
There was. Explain that.
yeah.
Well, it's just you wait. Maybe you haven't weighed yourself.
Right.
In,
and then
like,
you notice weight gain.
Right. Like
and
your pants don't fit as well.
And you notice,
And-
like, I haven't been eating differently. I haven't been going out.
But
I
I-
haven't been having extra sandwiches
And my scale is calibrated,
perfectly
but like then 2 months
from
after,
now. You have
then-
weight gain.
Yes.
And you're like,
it's dark matter.
Is
it's just not dark matter, Jay. It's dark matter weight gain, Jay.
So is that because we stepped into dark matter, the dark matter attacked us in our sleep, the dark matter...
Well, yeah, I mean, it's gravitational, so that would make sense. If you walk through some dark matter, you wouldn't know it. You don't interact with it otherwise, except through gravity. So
And
you
then-
have gravity, your matter.
And then the more
attacks
mass you have,
Yeah. It's kind of
the
like...
more of a gravitational field you have.
Right.
So-
Kind of like water weight, like sometimes you lose water.
Yeah.
And this would be dark
Gaining.
matter weight. Yeah. So you might not even notice it in your belt, but when you get on the scale, it's like, whoa.
Okay, I'm gonna
All right.
go. I wanted to take this somewhere completely different, Jay, but you go first.
No, there's no thought going
Good.
through my head.
So let's just talk about multiverses for a second. Okay, multiverse. Okay, if you had a multiverse, Erson, what do you mean multiverse? Multiverse.
Multiverse.
I would like to see-
Multiverse.
Multiverse. So, and
That's
if you
more than one of him.
Yes, if you calculate all the weight in those multiverses, right? All the weight, all the matter. Would that account for dark matter? Let's just say all the multiverses put together, all the matter there. If multiverse,
The scientists are
what do you think about
probably
that?
only considering our universe.
But I'm
So,
saying, why aren't they
yes.
considering if a multiverse existed? If you weight all that and that's all simultaneous, it's in those different.
Are all the multiverses like here, or are they spread out?
Well, it's a multiverse. I don't know how to get to the other multiverses. I mean,
Because if
maybe-
they're spread out,
Wormholes.
yeah,
no, they're all together.
they're together.
Well, I
We're
guess
on top of each other.
yes. Well,
Oh.
and there's no. It's another dimension. It's another.
Okay, you're talking
verse.
about two different things.
Well, maybe I'm talking about the same thing. Maybe I'm talking about a unified theory,
I think
Tony.
you're talking about three different things.
It's
Talk-
kind
talk
of
to me,
like
talk to
this never been done analogy of how a wormhole works.
Right.
Right. So if you
Talking to the mic because all the
Oh,
kids
yes,
at home
if
that
you,
are writing this down for their
like
notes. are gonna
take
need
a
help.
piece of paper, like if you were here in this universe, like here, and I was here in this universe,
I lick those. So I don't.
right? So that we're really far away.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mike is here, I'm here. But then a fold in space happens, like this fold
Oh, I can't see
In-
anything with these things on.
in this paper,
Right.
Yeah.
and then a hole
Ow.
busts through.
That's dangerous.
That hurt.
That's why they call it a space fold. When you fold space, you can leap great distances.
You got to pay for that.
Okay. This is not in the budget.
That's fine.
All right.
Okay, so I
No,
get
it's
it. So
gotta
yeah,
pay
so
for it.
that's a wormhole. So that's one way to get
One way,
here really
yes.
quickly. And if you flap it, it can look like a butterfly.
All right, but Bill's got a good point. So getting back to the dark matter, if that has anything to do with it, does Vader live there? Are we going to find Darth Vader? Because I don't know what happened. Last time I knew they burned his body and Ewoks were dancing around there, but
We saw them
was it
later.
really him? And
Then he
can we
turned
find?
young again.
Okay, so we possibly could, or you could find maybe Vader paraphernalia in this dark matter. Maybe it's worth something. Like I've seen people with Vader detectors, and they're listening. And
Do they play the song in the afterlife there? The little ding 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 ding. The Ewok song after they blew up the stuff.
Oh yeah, no, it's
I
like
kind of like
I
the
think
one
that's
in
an
the
Adirondack song, actually.
oh yeah, it's an ancient Adirondack song. What were we talking about, Jay? I don't remember. We're talking about dark
Dark
matter.
matter
Oh,
waking.
waking. So
Waking.
so we don't know where dark matter is. Where is it located? Is it in like a bunch of areas? Is it like clumped together? Is it all all over? Is it in you? If it's
It
in
could
you,
be.
if it's in you, that can explain the weight gain because dark matter might be gaining weight, gaining mass. I don't think that's true. I think this is all made up. I think that scientists have no clue what they're talking about. Like dark matter.
Well, if you gain weight, if you weigh more, but you don't get any bigger, then that's proof of
Then
dark
it's
matter.
dark
It is
matter weight gain.
proof.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely proof.
Yeah.
Well said, Tony. If you just joined us, you're listening to
talking.
Issuenite.
We're listening.
And watching Issuenite without credits. Why don't we get on our next set of issues, which we like to call Space Station Issues. And once again, we're talking about elections with the space station. Mike, what are we talking about this time?
They did.
Shay-
They did solve the voting up there. By the way.
Oh, excellent. Did you got our poll that we did last show? Did you find out?
No, but they decided to do a coin toss.
Oh,
They're just waiting for the coin to land. The Russians called head, and as soon as it lands.
but did anybody vote?
Not
on
a
our
Canadian
YouTube poll?
quarter, though.
Yeah, we got like one vote for each of the three. So.
Oh, so it's
yeah,
33.33333 with the line on top.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the question, Jay? Oh, okay. So they're gonna basically, so we have the election coming up, 2024. The Russian wants to run in the presidential election.
He can't do that, right,
He can.
Tony?
He can. I don't. Tony.
The space station one.
Yeah, the space station Russian.
Oh, okay.
He wants
one
to
of
run
the
for president.
astronauts
Yes.
up there.
The cosmonaut, they call him.
Cosmonauts. Yeah.
Yeah, they basically, the whole birth certificate thing. He's figured it out. He can run. He got to be 35. What do you have to be to run for president? What is it, Erson? You taught
30
something.
something years old.
Like 30.
35. It's
35.
35. I think it's 35.
Okay,
Got to be
so
American
good.
You mean
born.
president
Yeah.
of the United States?
What?
President of the
Yeah, he
United
wants to be
States?
president
Not
of
of
the
the
United
space station.
No, not space
Oh.
station. Of the United States. So
Well, it's like maritime law, right? It just,
Is
you
it
know how when you're on
maritime?
the sea
yeah,
and there's something called maritime law?
right. Is there a law that maritime, like it's the time of maritime? I don't know what that is.
Maritime law? They have their own law in the sea.
They do. Who does? The
Sea people,
like.
people on boats.
Okay. When they go on the land,
So
it doesn't
that's
apply.
why he can run for, yes, he
Okay.
can run for president. It's
Okay,
like maritime
okay,
law.
so it's
Okay,
a law.
so-
that's why.
Space-time
Okay,
law.
I get it. I get it.
Space-time, yeah.
Buffalo
I like
Lifesavers saying the same thing. So he's in like international space.
Yeah.
So when you're in international water, space, what else
Laws don't
international
apply.
is there? International mall,
Laws of our
the
land.
international
Right, that's right.
train, the international
Airport.
teleporter. Whenever you're there, you can identify with whatever nationality,
Whatever you
want.
want, if
Yeah.
you make up the rules. So he's gonna basically he's declared yesterday. All the other people are a little confused. Vivek sounds like cake. Trump, and I don't really know other people. Who else?
Biden, maybe.
Yes,
I think
Biden.
he's-
So they're all like, "What's going on? You can do this, I can't. You can do this." I don't know who that is. I don't think there's anybody with that kind of accent.
Joe Pesci.
Yeah, but what happened? Okay, I lost you, Jay. Your camera
Okay.
went out. So Jay, we're just gonna skip. I'm gonna change batteries while we do this.
All right.
I'm gonna go
ahead.
to wide shot real quick.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically, they want to run. He wants to run for president. They're gonna have a debate up there. Why don't you talk amongst yourselves for a second? Why a second?
All right.
Erson, just cut this, but don't
We'll just
cut.
leave it on wide.
Okay, I'll leave it on
Okay.
one second.
What were we going to say? Were you going to say something?
I was gonna say leave it on wide.
Okay. All right. So Buffalo Lifesavers is a good point. It says like how many voters could this guy have in a space station district? He can win a space station district, but if you divide that up by the populace in that, I think he gets 0.0006 electoral votes.
Electoral votes. Yeah.
So
if you round that up, that'd
Yeah.
be one,
okay. So
which would not be enough to win. But I
No.
mean, if he's running an election, he could. I mean, we could vote for him here, right?
Well, no, he's Americans are all going to vote for him. I mean, you could vote for him
Well,
if you
this
want.
is what he's doing. So he's stepping back in international space, and he's like, "Okay, I'm an American. I'm running for president." And then the next day, he steps back in, and then he says, "Oh, well, I'm a Romanian," because they're having an election there. So he's just trying to win something.
Yes.
So he's in a lot of them. I think he's in 38 elections.
So it depends on where
No.
he is up there. Like as he goes around the planet,
Good point, Tom.
like he's over U.S., then he's can run for U.S. When
Oh,
he's
wow.
over Romania,
Right.
he can run.
quick
for that.
vote, quick vote.
Yeah.
And if he's
What
over
about
the
the
U.S.,
debates,
he
though?
gets
What?
Debates.
Oh yeah, he does want to debate. So they are going to do a debate. Fox has said they're going to do a debate, but he wants it in space. He wants
Okay.
all the camera crews to come up to space. He wants all the presidential candidates. He's specifically running in the Republican. I guess he's shooting as Republican. So Trump's going to come up there. People are wondering if his hair is going to, his hair's going to stay when in
Tony,
weightlessness.
what kind of training do you need to get into space, though? I mean, that's a little bit of effort.
Good
right?
point.
Space training?
Yeah.
You'd need well, we talked about last show. The
Well, you went
confined
to space camp, right?
I went to space
Okay.
camp, yeah.
Oh,
and I had a lot of
well,
training
go
there.
ahead.
Okay.
Well, you got the centrifugal force thing where you want to vomit, that thing. You go around in circles like
So wait,
that.
if you go to space camp or you've been there in the past, then you can go to space probably.
all the candidates are going to have to go to space camp. I don't know if Biden's going to make it, but
He could teleport there
he could teleport there.
if they've worked.
But
out
he
their-
was
They could.
he was in space camp back in '57, so
Right.
I think he's good. He's grandfathered in. He can.
Many
they say he's
of
fit.
the rockets did not make it back then.
Yeah.
But, you know.
So he knows the risks. So
Yeah.
Sorry, what were we saying, Erson?
Oh, I was just saying that Biden could teleport there if he can't quite pass space camp.
Fitness test. Okay.
Yeah, but how's that going to look? How's
Well-
that going to look, really?
The problem is like
Well,
the
now they can make, instead of a 3D printer, they'll just make a GIF of him or GIF.
We've talked. Is it GIF or GIF?
GIF.
I think it's
Okay.
GIF. GIF.
I think it's GIF.
All right. I'll go GIF.
Okay.
I vote
I'm not.
GIF, yeah.
I didn't know how to spell
BMP
it.
bitmap
Okay.
bump.
Okay. So what are you saying? So they're gonna put an image of him.
A moving image.
Okay. Oh, okay. But it
GIF.
keeps moving in the same spot. So he's only going to be able to get one point across, and then it's going to repeat, and then he gets a point across again. It's the same point, right? That's all he's going to be able to do. Yeah.
Yes.
That's about it.
Yes.
So he only has what, 2 seconds, if that?
Well, they could loop it.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, but it's the same thing for looping, no matter how they. Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
Sorry, Jay. Your
Gotcha.
camera went again. It's low budget here.
Okay. That's all right. You can put me
I have
on
a
wide.
battery. I forgot to.
I'll try not to talk.
I forgot to charge
lot.
the
You
battery.
talk.
Okay.
You just can't.
All right. So one of the issues with the election coming up is the migrants and where to put these migrants. When they're coming in the country, and then
Oh.
what do you do with them? So they're thinking maybe we'll put them up in the space station. That's another place we can house them.
Right.
So-
Well, the Russian wants immigrants to come to the space station. He wants to show I'm gonna take care of people. I'm not Trump. I don't know. I don't want to declare Russian. We want the immigrants to come here. We're gonna put them up. I'm like a Russian Trump. We want the immigrants to come here and sit in the different buildings. Keep away from the Canadians, but you stay over here. Oh, I keep cutting your shit. You gotta keep on a
Okay.
shot, Jay.
Sorry,
you
Mike.
don't have a shot. There it is.
Okay, so the thing is when you house them, Tony, what's the capacity on the space station? I mean, how many can you possibly get there? What kind of buses?
Yeah.
What kind of transportation?
Well, I mean,
right,
they
they
got-
got to bus
Sorry,
them there.
guys.
They got some space. I mean, they got space in space. Like
How much
where,
space?
Where the Canadian Arm is, there's that big area that if you keep the
Area
cover
51.
closed, you could put people in there, sleep on the floor, I guess.
Okay.
And then you got the kind of the Russian wing, and like Mike said, they're trying to, get people to immigrate to that country and
Right.
put them to work.
You get free health care. Of course, there's no health care whatsoever on the space station.
All right, Ursa, so if you put people in a bus and you try to drive that bus into space, you're a physics guy. And can you make that happen? And how can you possibly make that happen?
With the bus?
Yeah.
Well, it would have to really fly.
They have the catapult thing. Did you read about that? There's a catapult that's actually launching satellites in space.
Yes, actually, the way that
catapult.
my physics professor actually said it is that if you keep on building a catapult or something to launch an object
Yeah.
farther and farther and farther, eventually it just misses the Earth and then it achieves orbit.
It misses the Earth. I mean, isn't
Because
orbit?
it's going
Isn't
going
orbit
so
in
far and so fast that
Yeah.
it falls, but
Right,
it
you're
falls
always
and
falling.
it misses the Earth.
It's got to fall perfectly, or it hits
misses the Earth.
or it hits the Earth.
Okay.
Or it lands on
it goes too far. Yes.
So you gotta
So it's a
fall
perfect
perfectly.
amount
So it's always
of
falling.
velocity.
I do
All right.
not want to be in
and
that
fall.
bus.
That is
Seems like if
orbit.
you get it going fast enough, you should be able to do that with a ramp. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
rockets.
Yeah, rocket.
But
There,
the
there are
motors-
rocket buses.
Rocket buses, yeah.
Yeah.
So Buffalo Lifesavers has a good point. They're like, they're going to probably need to go to space camp as well. So all these migrants, you're like, hey, you got to go to space camp. It's kind of fun. They come back with T-shirts and all those other fun things. But
Hats.
but it's expensive. So they're trying to think like, do we have to
They don't have
pressurize
to
the
pay,
bus?
though.
Probably.
Yes. You would have to pressurize
You can't
it.
save
They'd have to
money there.
pressurize-
Can you pressurize it halfway, or can you?
If they're suited up,
Yeah, I think
you don't have to pressurize.
You do a fundraiser and
Look at that.
Huh?
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You know, that's what I'm talking about. You know, that's what we do here, Tony. You know, Jay.
Okay, I've never seen Tony smile on the show.
Did you know how close you got? And you know, on the show, it looks like you guys are super far away, but no, you're sitting right next to each other, right next to each other.
I can't even.
Not as
reach
close
him.
as
I can't
us, though.
It's fine. No,
reach
we're
over
really
it. Okay.
Yes.
So, all right. So, I think we solved the problem with how to get the migrants up on the station. And you're talking about fundraising.
With
So
the
we're
rocket bus.
fundraising like, hey, let's pressurize the bus so nothing happens, right? Is that what we're talking about, Tone?
Fundraising, pressurize the bus. Yes, that's what we're talking about.
Okay. All right. If you just joined us watching Issuenight, we talk about important, serious issues of the day. Why don't we get on our last set of issues, again, without a credit, is Niagara Falls issue, and it's Cave of the Winds. And this is something I know about because I just read it. I guess the Cave of the Winds, the fans have broke. So, unfortunately, there's no wind there. And people are like, they're climbing up to here. We have a picture.
Jay, there's people, believe it or not, have never been to Cave of the Winds. The Cave of the Winds is there's Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
You've been to Niagara Falls. And behind the falls, there's caves. And
Yeah.
they're windy. That's
Correct.
the name, Cave of the Winds.
Well, look at these people. They got to climb. If we can, are we able to get that or not?
Let's see. Yeah, sure.
You
No.
have to. Here, I'll
Click on
try to
it.
click
There
it
you go.
again. Okay.
Why is it so small? Can you zoom in?
Shoot.
Oh,
Okay,
that's-
there we go.
okay.
Is that coming
That's
up
not
right?
Niagara Falls, is it?
So they got to.
Yeah.
They got to
It's outside the Cave of
climb.
the
Oh,
Winds.
okay. Here, I need
They
you
got to
to
climb all these stairs to get to the cave, and
Why couldn't they put the cave someplace more convenient?
I don't know, Tony. It was done a while ago.
You'd have to
back,
move the falls.
You would.
Yeah, and that was kind of expensive. So, if you climb up this and people are getting to the top and there's no wind and people are like, wait, I want my money back. It's Cave of the Winds. There's no wind. And they're like, hey, the fan's broke. They're asking people climbing up these stairs, could you bring a fan with you? But the question is,
Like
as
an
always,
electric fan, like
Erson, what if you're going to bring a fan up there? What kind of fan do you bring? Do you bring the oscillating fan? Do you bring a box fan? What kind of fan should
I would
you
say
bring?
a tower fan, but then you also have to bring a power source.
You can be battery powered. Right?
Oh, batteries
Or
are
you could
amazing.
could
It'd
you
be
just
pretty weak, though.
Could you just take like one of those little things?
Squirrel cage thing.
No, what's that thing, Jay? You know when you
A fan?
not a fan, something that you and then the thing hits
A
it.
helicopter?
It's kind of like the
pinwheel?
water.
A
The water
pinwheel?
hits it.
When the bat,
The water
the
hits
bat
that thing
hitting
that
the
you use to pull
helicopter
yourself off at like
The-
a amusement park?
It's
in the fifth Star Wars, the rotating turbine.
yeah. It was yes. It's a turbine. Exactly. You
Okay.
could bring a little portable turbine, reach out to the falls, and have it spin the water, create electricity for your little portable fan,
So that's a good idea. So,
Like a water wheel.
like a water wheel,
all right. So what
Electric
they're
turbine.
doing,
Yes,
some
exactly.
people are bringing
hydropower.
hydropower.
pipes, and they're sticking
Harness
the pipe
nature.
in the
Yes,
fall,
exactly.
in the falls to turn the fan. But Tony, does that produce wind when you have like water going over your fan?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you're diverting the water to generate electricity to, blow your fan.
And you're sticking your hand out like a really dangerous waterfall. that
Yeah,
has
so a lot of
tons
safety
energy.
issues, a lot of tourist issues if you're not, if you don't have water going over the falls.
Is there training
Gonna have them sign
like
waivers.
people can do
I
right
would.
before they
Yeah.
get there, Tony? Can they?
Disclaimers,
Is there
waivers.
any training though? They
Training, yeah, I like the idea of disclaimers would be good too.
You might lose your arm
okay.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
Cave of the
Write
Winds.
that down.
But
Put that on a ticket.
to answer your question, it would work. You could generate enough electricity to run those fans to get your wind back.
But so did the fans break? I mean, don't they have power up there? Can we plug in our fans up there?
Well, here's the thing: is they have a windmill, but
Where?
the windmill broke.
in under the falls.
Correct. So you have a windmill under the falls. And now that's
Wait,
broke.
it's big. These things are big. You ever go? I live in Wales.
The falls are also big.
What?
The falls are
They
big.
are big, but I'm
Yeah.
saying under the fall, the caves are they that big to create a windmill in there? And is the windmill
So the
receiving wind or creating wind?
There's wind in these caves, and they're using a big windmill to generate electricity to run the fans to blow the wind. So instead of using
Sounds like a
wind
perpetual device.
It is.
power,
It is. It's the perpetual motion device.
Right.
yeah, they're
Lot-
going to
lot of loss
change
of
to
energy.
water power, hydropower to generate the electricity to build the wind.
No, but I thought the water was turning the windmill in the waterfalls, and that's supposed to produce the power to plug in the fans to do.
Yeah.
Well, you have to plug in the fans, Jay. You do.
Okay. So do I need to bring a long enough extension cord? Like, say I plug it in by the concession stand that's a mile and a half away, and then I have to bring, right, Tone?
Yeah, you want to make sure you have the right gauge extension cord.
Right.
You've got to make sure that you
Just
probably,
Jay, if you have a problem, just lift up your arms and cough.
Yeah.
Like
ground-
help him, Erson.
Yes, you cough into this envelope because it has convenient air holes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
ground fault interruption. You should do lockout tag.
Oh yeah,
out.
GFI.
Yeah, lots
Important
of stuff.
Is that what that means? Ground fault interaction? GFI?
Interrupter.
Interrupter.
Okay.
Interruption.
I know that.
Interruption.
So,
interruption.
and here's the thing: is Buffalo Lifesavers makes a point. Like, you climb all these. I don't know if we can go back to it. You climb all these stairs and everything. You get to the top, and at the top there's wind, but there's actually no cave. And
Wait,
that's
there's
the
no
thing.
cave?
They don't say, yeah, it's not really Cave of the Winds. It's just, stairs going up to something that is windy. And they didn't want to call it that. They thought Cave of the Winds would work. I mean, Erson, have you gone up there and have you like, hey?
Yeah, I mean, I've been on the stairs and at the bottom of the falls. And
The bottom, like where the water comes down?
Yeah. Yes. At the bottom of those stairs, you can almost touch the water
Okay.
as it's coming down.
But if you
The breeze.
do, you'll be swept away.
Yes,
So,
but there's
you-
disclaimers you
can't
can
die.
sign though.
Okay, so you sign a disclaimer, and then what? 1 out of every 5 people gets pretty much swept. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
But yeah, at the top, I mean, there's a cave. And it's
So wait, you
pretty
saw a
windy.
cave?
It's pretty windy.
Okay, so they're saying maybe there isn't a cave. Do you sure you didn't see a picture of a cave? Did someone say?
Bill said his dad helped build the cave, so
Talking to Mike,
it's
Tony.
there.
Talking to the mic.
Talking
Tony.
to Mike, yeah.
Talking to Mike.
Okay, so
Talk to Mike.
All right, so we have it from Bill. I guess they did dig caves there. So whoever's out there doesn't believe there's a cave. I guess there is a cave. They've been dug. There's fans in
Wait,
there.
they dug them? They're not natural?
Well, that's what Bill said. His dad did
must
them.
be
Well,
true.
he built the stairs to the caves that were.
That's the same thing, though.
Yeah,
He
same thing.
built the cave, so yeah. Okay. I think that's about it. We're out of time, so we just want to thank everyone for joining us for another edition of Issue Night.